welcome to Edison Open House Transport Futures 2021. In this session, we're showcasing the work of GenCell, a company which develops unique fuel cell solutions, in its words, that offer clean power for humanity. I'm delighted that we're joined by its CEO, Rami Reshef. Rami, welcome.
Hi, Vivian. Thank you for having me today.
Now, GenCell's story starts rather unlikely, but it's true, in space. Tell me a bit more about that.
Yeah. So basically, we founded GenCell around space technology. Fuel cell technology were founded in 1839, but the first commercial use was a mission to Moon by the NASA and the Soviet Union space program. They looked for a technology that can offer power, heat, and drinking water for the astronauts. So this technology was really characterized by extremely high resiliency, but we also recognized that AFC technology does have the possibility to compete with combustion engine like a diesel generator, where, as we know, this is the mainstream technology that is right now all over the world. So that was the key reason for us in order to take this space technology and try to bring it from space to Earth.
But there's another big advantage in this technology, isn't there? Which is there isn't the same reliance on elements which are likely to be in global shortage.
Correct. So it was clear to us from the beginning that if you want to shift this technology from a niche technology to a mainstream, we need to overcome the two key barriers that prevented fuel cell technology from becoming mainstream. First is the fact that fuel cell is based on noble metals such as platinum and palladium, extremely expensive material as part of the catalyst. And secondly is the cost of the fuel itself. In this case, it's hydrogen, as you cannot find it in every street corner. So it's still expensive. So alkaline does have the possibilities to remove the noble metals that exist in the catalyst to very basic metals that could be 1,000 times much more affordable than the noble metals, and also to work with extremely, I would say, affordable fuel. In this case, it's ammonia. So in the last 10 years, this is what we did. We tackled these two challenges, and we're very proud that nowadays we have a solution product that is it's a platinum independent, and also we have a product that can run on ammonia as a liquid fuel, and by that offering a running cost that is competing with diesel gens. And this is where we want to be in the place that the customer could displace diesel gens and can get 100% green power with a price that will be lower than what he's paying today.
So is this what we hear talked of as green ammonia?
The green ammonia is actually the next stage of the evaluation of ammonia to power. Nowadays, we are using brown ammonia in order to produce green or clean energy. But we cannot ignore from the fact that ammonia itself produced today in a polluted process called Haber-Bosch process, while the feedstock is CH4 methane. So as a company, we have decided that it's not enough to overcome only part of the equation, that you can produce only clean power. We need to offer clean fuel. So we have initiated a project in the company to allow our customer to produce their fuel, in this case will be green ammonia, at the site, regardless of infrastructure, and then can consume it on site. So it's like a closed circular economy to our customer, reducing or eliminating totally any CO2 emissions in fuel production, in transportation, and in power generation.
But you're not quite there yet, is that right? At the moment, you're presumably shipping ammonia to refueling stations.
Correct. At this moment, we are using an existing ammonia. It's a huge market. It's more than 200 million tons of ammonia. It's brown ammonia. But we definitely looking to the future. We are aiming to displace this brown ammonia with green ammonia. We have an R&D initiative in the company. It will take several years, but we already started. We are very optimistic with the It's the results that we already see in the labs. And we believe that in less than 3 years, we will present the first proof of concept.
And that's a huge prize to shoot for, isn't it? Because it essentially means that you can have on-site production of ammonia, so local production, which means actually that you're offering ammonia to places, or offering, sorry, fuel to places that are inaccessible or a long way from other facilities.
Correct. And I think if you looked into almost 50% of the world that really lack a proper electricity for any economic development. There's more than 1 billion people that lack today proper electricity. So since ammonia, it's a chemical that you can use as a part of an agriculture industry as a fertilizer, which means that ammonia itself, it's in a chemical that in most countries in the world can handle that. But still you need to produce it in hubs and then you need to transport it. So that's, of course, it generates CO2, but it's also increasing the price, the cost of the ammonia. So the idea is to actually to allow our customer to produce their fuel on site. And by that, to eliminate the entire process of transportation. So there are some countries in the world right now that they need to import ammonia. So when you say import ammonia, which means maritime ships that polluted the air, it costs money. And eventually, at the end of this process, you have a running cost that could be much more affordable if you can create your fuel by yourself. So that's the idea. The idea is really to allow any remote sites, it could be off-grid, poor-grid, or even a fueling station that in the future can generate their fuel, eliminating all the transportations around it.
Hugely exciting future. Just let's concentrate for the moment on the here and now. What equipment will Gencell be providing to refueling stations for fuel cell powered vehicles?
Okay, so I would say the basic idea of Gencell is trying to avoid a very costly infrastructure. Nowadays, in order to build a hydrogen gas station, it's extremely expensive. And we believe that it's a real assets around us. All these thousands, hundreds of thousands of gas stations that we can see in every street corner. This is for us and a potential site to refuel hydrogen trucks, bus, and car. By actually transforming this existing gas station, that today you have gasoline and diesel, and in the future with Gencell technology, you will have ammonia, since ammonia it's a liquid, okay? It's a liquid that it's relatively it's affordable to transport from point to point in low pressure. You can place this ammonia at the existing gas station and then extract the hydrogen from the ammonia on demand on the spot. So all this ammonia cracking technology, this is what we're gonna offer at the first stage to be placed in a gas station, since this is what's called off-board. But Vivian, I can share with you that we have different thoughts about how we can bring the ammonia to be on board, on these buses, trucks, trains, etc., that you can extract the hydrogen from the ammonia really on demand while you are on movement.
So will the trucks and the cars and coming to these refueling stations have to have your Gencell fuel cells?
Of course, we would like that every car, truck, and train will have a Gencell's fuel cell, but it's not realistic. So we would say that I believe that as a first stage, we will be able to present or to offer a full solution, which means the vehicle itself and the fueling technology. But if you try to look in the future, what we really would like to offer, we would like to offer fueling hydrogen, I would say ammonia to hydrogen refueling technology that will fit any potential fuel cell vehicle. Because I really believe that eventually electrical cars, it's a good idea, it's the right step in the right direction, but eventually, if the world would like to meet their sustainability goals by 2040, 2050, the transportation industry should move to hydrogen. So, and as there's challenges to electrical vehicles, it's mainly in the infrastructure. Also for the hydrogen cars, there's also the problems in the infrastructure. And this is what we are trying to tackle. And really to remove this drawback from the hydrogen infrastructure by allowing hydrogen that comes from ammonia.
So in the past, you've concentrated on fuel cells for backup power and off-grid sites. Will vehicle transportation be much more important to you going forward?
So we believe that backup power solution, it's a huge market. And just a few weeks ago, we saw what happened to Texas. So we cannot ignore that what the impact of global warming. Global warming, which means severe extreme weather conditions. So super Western country like US, for a week, there's no electricity. So it's clear to us that this extreme weather condition, it's here to stay. So more and more critical mission applications in our society will need to be immune by this type of technology. Just we can mention COVID, refrigerated technology, et cetera, et cetera. So this is for us, it's a very, very important vector. It's going after backing up mission critical application. Second vector is the off-grid. Again, there's almost 50% of the world population do not have a proper grid. And they will not have, because building a grid will cost billions and will take many, many years. And we really can displace diesel gens by offering clean power with a running cost, with a price that it's much better than what they are paying today. So this is two sectors that we will keep promoting, and we believe that this is present a great future to the company. On top of that, since we already developed a technology for the backup, this is the fuel cell, the engine itself, and the ammonia reforming, this is mainly for the hydrogen itself. We really believe that transportation segment should be one of the key segments of Gensen. But also, Vivian, I would like to I mentioned before the green ammonia. So we would like to offer in the next few years, not only fuel cell technology and refueling technology, we also would like to offer the fuel itself, the fuel for the fuel cell, because it's super important to have a total green solution. It's half work, let's put it half cook. If you can generate clean power, but the fuel itself, it's not clean. And we as a company, we are really committed to offer a total green solution.
I'm getting a sense of how passionate you are about this. And you've already hinted at where you think the fuel cell sector is inevitably going. I suspect that you'll say that the future is hydrogen, but in the short term, what do you see developing in this sector?
I think a great positive move in this sector. I would say in the last 2 or 3 years, and mainly last year, when the world really understood that we cannot stand behind. I think COVID, there's a lot of good and bad things with this COVID phenomenon, but one of the good things that came out from the COVID is that everyone understood that they cannot stand behind. And global warming, it's an issue that we must address. And fossil fuel, it's here for the last 100 years, but it's time for fossil fuel to pass away. We need to shift to renewable energy as much that we can, different feedstock, solar, wind, hydroelectric, etc. And hydrogen is I would say, the missing part in order for us to shift different type of industries, such as diesel gens, transportations, maritimes, aviation. All of that actually, if we will not allow them to use a fuel that is similar to what they used to be, okay? Because if you look about, I would say, energy density in even lithium, okay? That's great. It's a great technology with different limitations, with great technology, but what you have in the box, this is the energy that you have. You need to present a refueling technology. So as someone is driving his car or would like to refill his generator, whatever it is, he would like to use the same supply chain and infrastructure that he used to. And also, I'm very encouraged by the amount of say investments that we can see from different governments tax incentive in US, Japan, the EU, etc. It means that the world is really moving forward towards reducing dramatically the CO2 emissions. And hydrogen is the right vehicle, in my opinion, in order to meet this mission.
So I'm sensing from you that actually what you're doing is not just about transport, it's actually about really redressing some of the inequities across the world, because having this type of technology will allow parts of the world that have not flourished so far to flourish in the future.
Vivian, I think that this is a great description of our vision. I have 4 kids, and when they wake up in the morning, they're switching the lights. They are not thinking if there's light in the wall. Okay, and I cannot ignore. Just really cannot ignore this potential that does exist in the world that right now powered by polluted technology. And if there's a way that you can offer them clean energy, and it's much more affordable than what they're used to pay today. So yes, we can take this space technology not only to the Western world, we can take it also to emerging markets, since they deserve, I would say, to get a proper economical development. And basically, I think Gencel could play a role in this mission.
You've outlined your vision, but I wonder where you think the future of transport is going. Will it be cars and buses? Will it be shared vehicles? Will it be autonomous vehicles? Where do you think the future of transport lies?
I think that we are facing a transition period now that will take a decade or even more. There's no doubt that this electrical vehicle phenomena, it's a very, I would say, right step in the right direction. But also the challenge that this phenomena is presenting to us, mainly to the grid infrastructure, is really something that I don't believe that it's a way to overcome it. Okay, it will cost billions of trillions and will take many years. So I would say on some level, you can see electrical vehicles will exist, and that they are, I would say, a good solution. But eventually, any what called heavy transportation and long distance transportation need to be run on hydrogen. Either this hydrogen will come with extremely low cost hydrogen that will be produced by electrolyzers, or the hydrogen that will be extracted from ammonia, like Gencel technology. So I can see heavy transportation, lorries, trucks, trains, maritimes, cargo aviation, buses, etc., still using the same methodology of fueling.
And what
along this,
sorry.
Yeah, so along this technology development, we can see more and more progress towards autonomous cars. But also, this is linked us to the question that you asked regarding backup. So what it means, this autonomous cars? It means machine to machine, which means the rollout of 5G, which means many more sites of telecom, density coverage, etc., which means business continuity. Now it's even more vital than it was in the past. So if we want to allow these autonomous cars to be on the road, we need to be 100% sure that all this 5G rollout is there and is fully backed up. And also there we can see that hydrogen will play a role.
What's fascinating is that just as we saw with telecoms and the way that emerging countries, and particularly in Africa, leapfrogged and really are much more advanced in some ways in their telecoms than Western countries, whether the same thing happens, but with transport systems. People think that things in Africa will not proceed quickly. I suspect they might well do.
I think that it's a good point, since sometimes it's much more effective and less expensive to jump on generation. So instead of putting infrastructure and then shift it to cellular, for example, in Africa, they just they had this frog jump and did it immediately. So I think that if the world will allow them the right infrastructure, in this case using what called very, very affordable hydrogen cost. Okay, this is the key. The fuel is this is the key. It's not the capex. Capex it's something that it's always you can deal with, but if the operational cost it's extremely high, it's a showstopper. So I think that at the moment that the hydrogen cost will be affordable, I will not be surprised to see emerging markets is really soar with this type of technology.
Finally, a real investor question this. Can you solve the future of transport and get a return for investors?
I think that we could be part of the society is looking into trying to overcome this challenge. And the challenge, it's not with the vehicle itself, the challenge is with the infrastructure. And there's massive investments, and we're extremely happy for seeing massive investments in this arena. But as you said, I would say the return of investment, you need to have a strong, you need to have to take a long breath in order to make sure that this return of investment will happen. So our idea is using existing infrastructure. So trying to reduce dramatically, actually the cost will be fractioned than the cost that is cost today to build hydrogen gas station. So we would like to be part of the existing infrastructure, to leverage this existing infrastructure. I can share with you that one of our key investors that invested in Gencel last year is the largest energy company in Israel. It's called Paz Oil, with hundreds of gas stations. And for him, it was clear that he needed to build a future for this existing gas station. Otherwise, they will fade out. If the market will be transferred to electrical vehicles and fuel cell vehicles. So we believe that we can reduce dramatically the time for the return time for this investment in our approach.
Rami Rashef, CEO of Gencel, it's been such a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for outlining such an exciting vision for the future of transport.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you very much. It was a real pleasure for me to be with you today. Thank you very much.